According to psychologists, your brain processes millions of pieces of information every second, yet your conscious mind notices only a tiny fraction of them. Most people overlook subtle details without ever realizing it. But there are some people who seem to notice what everyone else misses. They catch changes in someone's tone before anyone else hears them. They sense tension in a room before a single word is spoken. They notice patterns that don't become obvious until much later. If you've ever wondered why you seem to pick up on things that other people dismiss, the answer may have less to do with being overly sensitive and far more to do with how your mind has learned to understand the world. Most people assume this ability is simply intuition or luck, but psychology suggests something much deeper. The people who notice what others never see often share a hidden way of processing reality, one shaped by experience, perception, and an extraordinary ability to connect invisible dots. Ironically, this gift can feel more like a burden than a blessing. It can make relationships complicated, conversations exhausting, and everyday life strangely overwhelming. Perhaps you've spent years wondering why people don't seem to notice what feels painfully obvious to you. The strange thing is, your mind may have been doing something remarkable all along. If you've ever experienced this, let me know in the comments below. I'm curious how many people relate to this. You weren't born believing that every small detail mattered. Somewhere along the way, your brain learned that paying attention could protect you, help you understand people, or make sense of situations that didn't feel safe or predictable. For some, this begins in childhood. Growing up around unpredictable emotions, mixed signals, or environments where reading subtle cues became important, can teach the brain to become exceptionally observant. Without realizing it, you begin noticing facial expressions, pauses in conversation, shifts in body language, and changes in energy that other people ignore. For others, it develops through deep curiosity. Some minds naturally seek patterns. Instead of accepting the surface, they constantly ask what lies beneath it. They don't just hear words, they wonder why those words were chosen. They don't simply observe actions, they search for hidden motivations. Over time, this way of seeing the world becomes automatic. You stop trying to notice details because your brain has already done it before you're even aware. And that leads to a fascinating psychological truth. Psychologists call this pattern heightened perceptual sensitivity. It doesn't mean your senses are physically stronger than anyone else's. It means your brain filters information differently. Carl Jung believed that much of human behavior is driven by unconscious patterns that reveal themselves through symbols, emotions, and subtle behaviors. While most people focus on obvious events, highly perceptive individuals often detect the unconscious signals hiding beneath them. Researchers studying social cognition have found that our brains constantly interpret micro-expressions, tone of voice, and body language, often before we're consciously aware of it. Most people process these signals just enough to navigate everyday life, but some individuals process them far more deeply. Your brain is actually doing something fascinating. It is constantly comparing present experiences with thousands of stored memories, looking for similarities and inconsistencies. Daniel Kahneman described this as the brain's incredible ability to recognize patterns rapidly, even before conscious reasoning catches up. This is why you sometimes know something feels off, without being able to explain why. Your subconscious has already assembled the puzzle long before your conscious mind can describe the picture. But this is where things get interesting. If this is making sense so far, take a second to subscribe to Psychology Theories. Every episode is designed to help you understand yourself on a deeper level and uncover the hidden psychology behind everyday human behavior. Most people believe noticing everything is a weakness. They tell you that you think too much, that you're reading into things, that you're imagining problems that don't exist. But the truth is, people who notice subtle patterns aren't creating reality. They're often detecting parts of reality that others haven't recognized yet. The challenge is that heightened awareness comes with a cost. You notice emotional distance before relationships begin to change. You sense dishonesty before evidence appears. You recognize unspoken tension before conflict erupts. Because you see more, you also carry more. Psychologist Elaine Aron, known for her work on highly sensitive people, found that some individuals process information much more deeply than average. This deeper processing often leads to stronger intuition, richer emotional understanding, and greater empathy, but it can also lead to overstimulation and emotional exhaustion. What others call overthinking is often your brain refusing to ignore important information. Perhaps your greatest struggle has never been noticing too much. Perhaps it's living in a world that notices too little. Here's how you know this pattern might describe you. The first sign is that people are often surprised when your predictions come true. You notice tiny clues long before anyone else sees the bigger picture. Another clue is that crowded environments drain you quickly. Your brain isn't simply hearing conversations, it's processing countless emotional and social signals all at once. A third sign is that you've often been told you're too observant. You remember details people forgot they ever shared because your mind naturally stores meaningful patterns. Finally, you often trust your instincts even when you can't fully explain them. More often than not, those instincts turn out to be surprisingly accurate because they're built on information your subconscious collected without your awareness. These aren't random personality quirks. They're clues about how your mind experiences the world. Which of these signs describes you best? Leave a comment below. I read every single one, and I'd love to hear your experience. Maybe this was never a weakness. Maybe you've been looking at yourself through the wrong lens. The world often rewards speed over reflection, certainty over curiosity, and noise over quiet observation. Yet many of history's greatest thinkers, psychologists, artists, and innovators shared one common trait. They noticed what others overlooked. Your ability to recognize patterns isn't just about intelligence, it's about awareness. Awareness creates understanding. Understanding creates empathy. And empathy creates deeper connections with both yourself and the people around you. The goal isn't to notice everything. The goal is to learn when your perception is revealing genuine truth and when your fears are filling in the blanks. That balance is where real wisdom begins. The more you understand your own mind, the less you'll mistake your differences for flaws. Research consistently shows that self-awareness is one of the strongest predictors of emotional intelligence and psychological well-being. The people who understand how they think are often better equipped to navigate uncertainty, build meaningful relationships, and make thoughtful decisions. If you've always felt different because you notice things others don't, remember this: your mind isn't trying to isolate you, it's trying to understand the world more completely. That ability may sometimes feel lonely, but it also allows you to see beauty where others see ordinary moments, recognize truth where others accept appearances, and understand people in ways they may never fully realize. Perhaps your greatest strength has never been seeing more than everyone else. Perhaps it's your willingness to pay attention when everyone else has already looked away. If this video spoke to you, make sure to like, subscribe to Psychology Theories, and share it with someone who needs to hear this. And remember, sometimes the people who see the deepest truths are simply the ones who never stopped paying attention.